Hi everyone, I'm Marlene Moore, the creator of Back to Basics Piano Method. Some of you are in my Facebook group and some of you are watching this through YouTube on your own. Whatever way, you should know that Back to Basics is based on love, achievement, freedom, and fun. Love, achievement, freedom, and fun for you, the teacher, and for the student, and for the parent of the student. The Back to Basics books, there are 10 of them, can be purchased through jwpepper.com/myscore/Marlene Moore. That's jwpepper.com/myscore/Marlene Moore. I will also type that outside of the YouTube for today. Well, we're in doing book 3 for the second time. A closer look, a little more personal, intimate, closer look into book 3, because prior to this I played them for you and I taught you a little bit on how to teach them, but we didn't have a really good look at them. And in case you don't have books 1, 2, and 3, you should get them soon, because they won't make any sense to you with these videos unless you have purchased the books. This is video number 20. Go back and watch video 17, video 18 and 19 first. Video 18 is book 1. Video 19 is book 2. And today we're on video 20, which is book 3. Go back and do the other 2 first, because that will make more sense to you. Okay. Your first page is to the teacher, dealing with the rote piece formula. You can read that when you get the book. It's quite lengthy. And the sight piece formula. You can do it your own way, but those are good suggestions. Followed by the table of contents, cuckoo, lightly row, farmer in the dell, bugle call, row, row, row your boat, lullaby, Beethoven's song, variations, more teeter-totter surprises, I love you too, you love me too, finger surprises, cuckoo, see my fingers dancing, lightly row, peanut butter song, butterfly song, hopping song, Yankee Doodle, 2 hands, finish the melody, run pony, turtle walking, and now I'm finished my book 3. You can see that the pattern of the pieces is very close to what we had in books 1 and 2. Each thing presented in Back to Basics is a step. So they had the right hand separately for some of these pieces in book 1, and the left hand separately for some of these pieces in book 1. In book 2, they began to put them hands together. Now other pieces are added, and the Alberti bass that they learned in book 2 is now being applied to some of the pieces in book 3. So let's have a little closer look to book 3. I'm just going to pull this a bit closer to me. Alrighty. There's cuckoo being taught in steps with the stop, think, go idea. We learned that, I think, in video 3. So go back and review that one if you've forgotten about what the sequential learning idea is. Coloring. Follow the dots, color the black notes black, some notes join hands. They're just learning now about what notes are which, and about counting and the names of notes. This is lightly row. I'm not at my piano, I'm in the kitchen. I've got this book propped up on my art easel, which makes a much better subject. We can see it much better this way. Pull it a wee bit closer. There. So we're going to be teaching one step at a time. Play the whole thing for them a lot and then teach one step at a time. And you know what I do? I usually teach step 3 first. This one here. I teach that one first. That's a rote piece. And we now know the difference between a sight piece, which is the children are looking at that and figuring it out for themselves. The rote piece, the teacher plays it for the student and then divides it into steps. Okay? They have no problem playing this. We don't figure out the rhythm yet, not yet. Just playing it, identifying it. Farmer in the Dell. We talked about this earlier, but there's a really good picture. I hope you'll color the pictures. Smiley face says, how many faces? 1, 2, 3, 4. Where is the C? Aha, where is the C? You see, they've got to look for it. They're beginning to identify the names of notes now. Bugle call. I'm whistling today because I don't sing very well and I'm not near my piano. Anyway, this is you better get up, you better get up, you better get up in the morning. And I teach many steps for this one because it's a rather hard piece. They're getting into more difficult pastures now. Don't forget, if students are having a problem with any type of sight reading, get the parent to purchase Music Maps. Music Maps Book 1, followed by Music Maps Book 2. There could not possibly be enough sight reading in these primary books. I would say that 80% of the teachers end up buying Music Maps, and it's an invaluable book because it has the large notes and teachers find it very, very helpful. Okay, now we've got Row, Row, Row Your Boat. We read that something similar to this in Book 2. And there's the fish reminding us we never practice, we just play. Playing is fun. We like to play. Sight piece 5, finding F's. Followed by rote piece, lullaby, sleep my baby, sleep my baby, sleep my baby all through the night. Angels greet you, come to meet you, guarding you till morning light. Sleep my baby, sleep my baby, sleep my baby all through the night. This is a favorite recital piece. Children like this one, especially girls. Beethoven's song. Beethoven's music has grown up a bit since Book 1 when they met it. And the picture hasn't changed, but the song has become increasingly more difficult because there's 2 hands to think of here. And then remember the variations that we've had in Book 1 and Book 2. Peanut butter, butterfly, hopping, jump, jump, sit, run, pony, turtle walking. Do you remember all those guys? Well, here they are, just partially written out, and they've all been taught this by rote. So we're now putting all of these hands together. And for recitals, children like to play all of them. They like to get up there and do a real concert on the variations of, they call them the peanut butter variations. And that's fun to do. I love you too. Here we go. The broken triad followed by the solid triad all together. Teeter-totter surprises. The metronome is becoming more obsolete now. A lot of electronic pianos have the metronome already on the piano. It's called a click. We're going to be having a lesson on teaching more about an electronic piano in the future, because, like it or not, it's here to stay. This seems to be the piano that parents are buying for their children. And in more and more homes, there seems to be an acoustic piano and an electronic piano. I have one of each. I use my electronic piano for composition and orchestration and recording. And I use my acoustic piano for practicing. So they're valuable tools. I don't believe that they're good for piano students or that they're good for practicing, but I guess we have to accept that they're here to stay, probably because they're cheaper. And my piano is not just an electric piano. It does everything but the dishes. Okay, more teeter-totter surprises. We've got the Alberti bass followed by the triad here, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and going into B. And this is good for them. So at this point, teachers decide, do I have on my hands a student who is visual or a student who is auditory? You should know this by now, because this is sort of the change part where you have to decide, am I going to teach this child more rote pieces? Will I teach this as a rote piece? Or will I teach this piece as a sight reading piece? Because most of them are able to handle this now as far as sight reading. Not your auditory child. That doesn't happen. They're going to have a little more of the rote teaching with a whole lot more sight reading. All the more reason to buy the Music Maps book for those students. I was, or I am, still am, an auditory learner. A lot of people are, but there are apparently more visual learners in the world, but I am an auditory learner and a kinesthetic learner. We talked about that when we talked about book 2. So make sure that your auditory learners get more practice with sight reading, but also keep teaching them by rote for a little bit longer. It's the very, very opposite with your visual learners. Let them visually do whatever they want to do. You really don't have to teach the visual learners by rote anymore if they want to do this by sight. What you do have to do, though, is to extend their auditory learning, their ear training. And that is best done with the visual learners by teaching them how to compose music, how to write music. And that's done by using a book called Making Melodies. That's perfect for all of them, but especially for your visual learners, because it teaches them how to translate that from their head onto the page. See how this is gradually getting more difficult. I like the idea of drawing the note to the keyboard, or the keyboard, put a notch here, and just say, okay, where is this note? Find that one up here. Draw it that way. Finger surprises. This is a little bit like the previous one, up the hill and down the hill, except there's a little surprise at the end. Da, 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 da. Okay, at the bottom, we've got a quiz. Make a quarter note, make a half note, so they're all into this now. And then on the bottom, make 5 whole notes, make 10 half notes. Okay. Sight reading, we have 2 exercises now, 1 keyboard in the middle. Cuckoo. This is the second version of Cuckoo that they've had now in this book, where we have got the broken triads in the left hand and the cuckoo melody in the right hand. And at first this is a little foreign to them, but they get it. Again, I teach step 3 first. You can teach it whatever way you like through the steps here that are marked with the little red balls. I've always found it easier if we do step 3 first. 1, 2, 3. Step 3 first because it's the hardest. It's the one that is different. Next sight piece. And the favorite recital piece. See my fingers dancing. Da 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 da. They love, love, love this piece. And I feel good about that because I wrote it. That's one of my pieces. And they have a good time with that one. Okay, followed by sight piece 10, followed by lightly row. Same approach as Cuckoo. I teach step 3 first. I just say step 3, rhymes with D, step 3. It is the one that is different, D for different. See, they're getting into more advanced stuff now. Mr. Peanut is doing his bow. He's performing. And this is Alberti bass, distributed over 2 measures with your right hand staccato peanut butter, as we had in the previous book. But they're putting them together now, kind of like for early beginners, kind of like rubbing your belly and your head at the same time, but they do get it. Finish the melody. This is the first introduction to what Finish the Melody is all about. And this is the format of the book I was telling you about, Making Melodies. And this is what they do in the Making Melody book. They literally play this and then they finish the melody. So they're figuring out where the bar lines go. They're figuring out how to play it and how it would sound nice to finish it. You don't need to teach a lot of theory. You need to teach them how to listen and how to figure this out. Give them choices. Really, really good for your visual learners. You know, speaking of visual learners, the most difficult thing that I have found of teachers who have been teaching in a traditional manner, who have been teaching everything by sight, everything, pointing to the notes and correcting the notes, and the child has learned everything visually. Every one of their students learn everything visually. Those teachers have a harder time grasping the concept of back to basics because they have to kind of convert their own brains, especially if that teacher is a visual learner. She has to convert her own brain to teaching partly but visually and partly auditorily, and especially to learn how these various children learn. You know, if you've got an auditory learner on your hands, it's going to be harder for you to teach that child. So I do believe that teachers, traditional piano teachers, really need to have an open mind when they go into these books, because they're going to see a lot of differences on how their children react. And you're really going to have to analyze how these children learn. Okay, this is Butterfly. Left hand, we've got the broken triads, and Butterfly the same as it was in book 2. Don't forget to color these nice pictures. Okay, and this is taken from the Playwright book, Play and Write. This is exactly what the Playwright book looks like. If you have a child that's really struggling with names of notes and where the notes live, and they are probably auditory and kinesthetic learners, get that book. It's called Playwright. Playwright Book 1. Hopping Song. Alberti left hand. The hopping in the right hand that they had before in the last book. Which takes us to Yankee Doodle. We all know that tune, don't we? And they like that one. And it makes a good little recital piece. And notice it says sight piece on the Yankee Doodle. And it says wrote piece on Jump Jump Sit. I would ignore that term, wrote piece, if you have a child that's eager to read that. Just go by what the child's clues are, the clues that they give you. Finish the melody. This is the idea that comes from Making Melodies, that book. Some children love to have their own Making Melodies book because they love to work on it at home. Here's good old Run Pony. We met up with him. Looks like he's getting corralled again. Oh, no, one has escaped. Run Pony's got Alberti left hand and the right hand that was learned in the last book. Same thing with little Turtle here. Oh, see, Turtle's in love. He's going to take flowers to his girlfriend. Wonder what happens next with Turtle. And now I'm finished my book 3. To the tune of London Bridge is Falling Down. Except this one says, now I'm finished my book 3. I wish I could sing better, but I can play pretty good. And then we have our certificate of promotion. They make a big deal out of this. You know, when I had the group classes, the performance classes for the children once a month, when they all came, I used to hand out the certificates at that and make a big deal out of it and give them all a present, the ones that had just gone on to the next book. I hope you're going to be doing group classes. Lots of teachers say, well, I don't have time. Well, you know, I had 50 students and I still had group class on a Saturday and I was still writing books. You can make time. You can make time. It helps the stage fright so much if you have group classes. All you have to do is have them once a month. Call it a makeup lesson, and you never have to make any lessons up ever again. I used to also have 1 or 2 parents I would invite each month. And that's good for the children because it gives a little extra tension. It also shows the parent exactly what you're doing. And that's cool. Okay. If you have questions on the group, please ask them. It would be really nice if you left a comment on YouTube. I think that would be cool. If you liked what we did today, please do the like button. It would be neat if you could subscribe. Then I know where you're at. I know who's enjoying what. If you have questions, put them down. If you're not in the group, put the questions on YouTube. I'm only too happy to help you. Okay. This was fun for me. I hope you enjoyed it. Video 21 is going to go into a little tiny review of books 4 and 5. And then we're going to get on with How to Teach Book 5 to 10. Okay, bye for now.